Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of Real to Real Talk. It's time once again to talk all things movies. Joining me, as always, is the other Real to Real talker, Paul Britton. And I'm Sergio Barrera. Paul, welcome
Hi.
to another night of movie talk.
What are you doing over there? What?
Oh, hold on. Let me fix that. I can fix that. Watch.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
The balance of the universe is restored.
Better. Oh, my goodness.
Although, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. I feel like there's a disturbance in the force. Hold on. Hold on. Hey!
Hi.
Surprise!
How are you?
We have a special guest tonight.
Hi.
I'm so happy.
I was like, this is going to be awful. Paul's just like, what's up, Susan?
I'm super happy. What are you talking about?
Well, that's the idea.
Yeah, this is like a great surprise, pleasant,
Yeah.
awesome. What are you doing here? Did you watch a movie, or are you just popping in to say hi?
Actually, I watched a movie or two.
Awesome. Sweet.
Yeah, and oh look, I have to show this, Susan, because you also got a fan. So
hi, Nick.
yeah, no, so yeah, Susan watched the movie, and here we are. So
awesome.
It happens on occasion.
Yes, absolutely. And we talked this past weekend, Paul, and we thought, you know what? It's Netflix Roulette.
Surprise.
Yeah, we'll surprise Paul. And so,
yeah.
And I promise you, Paul, that none of the stuff that happened to delay tonight's show had anything to do with that. This was totally
no, that's
on my
okay.
end.
If it did, that would be a better reason for delay.
Yeah, seriously. So we can blame Susan, is what you're saying. So.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that it would be less frustrating and annoying.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd actually be pleasant and cute.
Like me.
Exactly.
So, Susan, how is school?
It's good.
Getting close.
Getting close to being done. I got 12 weeks left.
Wow.
No pressure.
Well, we're happy that things are going well, and we're happy that you're with us tonight, as we will be doing Netflix Roulette here this evening, and we're going to have some fun with it. It's funny because we do Netflix Roulette quite often on the show, and I didn't know how to really title it, so I just put August.
Sure.
So there we go.
No pressure doing it in September, by the way. No pressure.
So Paul, what was our topic that we decided upon?
We decided upon, as far as I know, sci-fi.
Yep, absolutely.
Let me show that. There you go. So if you want to play along, you could just go to realgood.com/roulette/sci-fi and get your own movie.
That's right. Let the wheel do the work, and you might be surprised by some of the goofy stuff you'll find. So yeah.
Or not surprised.
Or maybe not surprised.
Or not surprised. No.
But as has been the history with this show, it has given us some gems here and then.
Yeah.
So I would just ask before we jump into it. Okay, it's just when you saw what you got, what was the reaction? Like your first, not the film, like just, oh, okay, this is what I have to watch.
My first reaction is, oh, I've actually heard of this one. Okay.
That's good.
Which
so
is
rare.
always a shock, honestly, when we do this. So
mine was like, okay, all right. I guess that's what I'm watching.
Yeah.
I'm looking at your title, Susan. I'm like, that's not sci-fi. Are you sure?
I had the same reaction, and she showed me that it did say sci-fi.
I can show it on Real Good's website. I have a screenshot of it.
No, I believe you 100%. But I'm
totally
just,
sci-fi.
That's okay. It's cool.
My reaction was huh? Which is often the case in terms of the films I tend to get from the wheel. So big thank you to our friends at realgood.com for allowing us to use their tool for this. And hey, you can too, just like Paul said, just check it out on screen. And all you do is you pop in your favorite streaming service. We use Netflix, and it'll spin and give you a movie to choose from. And so our promised amongst ourselves is that we spin the wheel once and we go with what it gives us, unless it's under an hour. And so, because you're going to get some stuff. So with that, I say we jump right in. So Susan, as our guest tonight, and hopefully soon to be co-host again, tell us what the wheel mysteriously gave you.
So the wheel gave me a little movie called American Ultra. Paul and Sergio both are like, that's sci-fi ? But it is. According
I
to
think my reaction was that's not sci-fi, but
yeah,
both of
I'm
y'all,
curious.
that's not sci-fi.
When you got to the end of it, were you like, did it enter your mind that why is this being called sci-fi, or were you like, okay, I could see how you could stretch it to be sci-fi?
I was saying you could stretch it. I was seeing how
Okay.
you could stretch it. So.
Okay.
Premise, of course, being, sleeper agent gets activated because he's, whatever, he's getting ready to be eliminated. And he, of course, pops out with all his like super secret agent moves, killing a bunch of dudes in the process, So that's where I get the sci-fi thing from, because like that's not real.
The sleeper agent coming in, being sleeper cells is not real.
Exactly. No, I don't think so. I think that's the stretch there for the sci-fi.
Clearly, we know now that the government is running realgood.com because they don't want people to believe in sleeper cells.
They're like, sci-fi. It's definitely sci-fi, guys.
Okay.
how did you feel about Jesse Eisenberg as an action star?
Oh, he's awkward at best. And to be honest, I was like, it wasn't who I would have chosen.
Yeah.
But like, I guess he did okay. I liked the movie overall. It was like fun and cute. And
Okay.
was like, okay, Kristen Stewart. Okay. People, what was his name? Bill Pullman is the big guy, the important guy, and I'm like, where's he been anyway? But yeah, I think it was an okay movie. I think that he did well for what he was given.
Yeah.
But he wasn't given a whole lot.
Yeah, this movie was one that was recommended to me, and I actually fought the notion of seeing it. It clocks in at a 44% on Rotten Tomatoes, so that's
NG.
and
Not good.
yeah, and yeah. But overall, so what were some of the highlights of the film to you in terms of your enjoyment of it or not?
I like Topher Grace getting killed at the end. I hate that guy.
All right.
So much.
That's always a plus.
And
All
he
right.
was kind of an ass in that movie.
Sorry,
so,
Pacey.
He was an ass in the movie, so it was kind of like, haha, finally. Yeah. I like the the plot twist wasn't that. I mean, it was obvious, at least for me, that she was who she was. The girlfriend wasn't. She was the original handler, and I was like, that tracks. But I mean, it was overall an okay movie.
Yeah,
It wasn't like the worst movie I've ever seen in my life, and it also wasn't the best movie I've ever seen in my life. It was just okay.
yeah. It was like a Wish.com action movie.
Exactly. Wish.com of the Bourne movies.
There you go.
So it's like,
And there you go. Nice.
Oh, that's harsh.
Man. Yeah, but that pretty much sums it up. Paul, you've seen this movie.
I have not.
Oh, okay.
I'm aware of it though. Yeah.
Is it
Like,
one
I
of
know
those
it's
that you're
not
like,
stuff.
okay, let others watch it and let them
Yeah,
talk about it.
I wasn't interested, and it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I hope people like it.
I
Go
mean,
watch
yeah. And hey, if you enjoy Topher Grace in villainous roles, Susan, try out the Predator sequel, Predators, with Adrian Brody,
Mm.
okay.
Topher Grace, and others. And I'll tell you off air so that we don't ruin it for folks why you should watch it. So, but it's got another very strong turn from Topher Grace of the same character he plays in just about every movie. So, all right. Okay. Well, Paul, if you don't mind, may I go ahead and cut in with mine?
You go right on in.
Because I'm excited to hear about yours.
Okay.
Because while I haven't, I know it's Genesis. And so anyway, for me, I got a movie called The History of Future Folk. And it is, to say it's extremely low budget is to that's an overstatement. And I was sitting there because I got the result from the spin, and I was like, okay, well, just from the poster, I can already tell like this is going to be
Silly.
something
Yeah.
off the mark. And then it started. It's about 87, 88 minutes, and it is charming in its absolute disregard for how poor of a movie it is. Like because here's what you learn if you do the research after or during, because it wasn't really that interesting of a film. But Future Folk, I learned, is a folk band that actually performed between 2004 and 2017 in New York. But the backstory of this duo, Future Folk, is that they are aliens from a planet called Hondo, and their stage performance is totally about they came to Earth to destroy the Earth so that they're Hondonians, as they're called, could come and take over the planet. But when they got here, they heard music for the first time in their lives, and it transformed their lives to such a point that they decided that the mission was not worth fulfilling. And General Trias is the character who first comes to Earth with the mission, who decides to not fulfill it. And then the mighty Kevin comes after him to finish the mission and deal with General Trias. And so this is their backstory. They'd been performing on stage for quite a few years, and someone said, hey, you should make a backstory and you should like turn it into a movie. And they did. And so
I'm just going to tell you, I love everything about this story.
Listen, it is not, there is a scene where something explodes, and I swear to you, they do a great job of building the tension toward the explosion, and then it's time for the explosion, and it literally goes like, and so the charm of this film is that there was no intention of making something super spectacular. It's like, hey, we talk about who we are on stage, let's bring it to life and have some fun.
Sure.
And available on Netflix. I 100% encourage people to watch this movie because it is adorable.
See, I wish I lived in New York City now, because I would have totally, if they were around when I was there, I would have absolutely like went and watched them a couple times. That sounds fun.
There is Whispers of a Comeback. There's been 2 albums.
Oh, okay.
Whispers of a Comeback. I'm sure not because of the film, but but they had a pretty serious following, and so again, the history of Future Folk, I'd totally recommend it. I'm like, go check it out.
My New York friends a note and ask if any of them have ever seen Future Folk before. That sounds fun.
They get up on stage in their space outfits and their bucket helmets, and
just the IMDb, the possibly exaggerated origin story of the real life alien bluegrass band.
Yes,
Future Folk.
Yeah.
Real life alien bluegrass band. Come on,
says it all.
It's amazing.
Says it all. Yeah, no, I really loved it.
I love bluegrass, so
come on. Paul, you'll have to let me know if you watch it.
I might have to.
Tell me what you think. It's a quick jaunt, and then you're done. So, all right. Well, Paul, that leaves you for Netflix Roulette. What did the wheel give you?
Well, okay. So, I'm going to say a couple names, and you tell me what comes to mind. Okay, after I say the 2 names. Frank Darabont, Stephen King. What comes to mind?
Oh, geez. I feel like there should be movies that come to mind.
There should be 2, at least. Just 2. There shouldn't be 3, but unfortunately there is 3. The 2 that come to mind are Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
And The Green Mile. Frank Darabont. Came blasting onto the scene and by thanks to Shawshank Redemption, and then a few years later he made Green Mile. By the way, he'd written movies before, but his directorial debut was doing a Stephen King adaptation. And then he went for the third one, and I got the third one, and it was called The Mist. And I mean, Sergio, I'm kind of surprised you haven't seen this one, because it's like Stephen King and it's a movie, and
There's a reason.
That's your wheelhouse. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What's the reason?
The reason I haven't seen The Mist is because I so thoroughly love the novella that I don't want it ruined. Because boy, this story on paper, in book form, takes your mind to places where you're like, ugh, it's one of his perfect stories.
I believe it. I'm really curious about the story. I might want to read the story at some point. I got it. This is a great example of something that just needed a much, much, much bigger budget, because in its form, it just feels very small. I mean, it's interesting because the supporting cast features people who you have seen in the other Frank Darabont Stephen King movies.
Okay.
Plus Toby Jones, who you've heard of. Sure. The main cast is Thomas Jane, who you may or may not know, and isn't somebody who you're like, oh, I want to go see a Thomas Jane movie. Marcia Gay Harden, who you may or may not know, and then and it's just the story is fantastic. Okay. I really like the story. It's basically, for those who don't know, it's an exploration of how society crumbles under just immeasurable pressure, and so a mist comes rolling in. People are disappearing when they go into the mist. And so so people hole up in a grocery store for whatever reason. The grocery store, I remember, the grocery store was super packed because an electrical storm had knocked out everybody's power. So so that's why the grocery store was packed. And then within this grocery store, just society collapses and everybody starts accusing each other of horrible things. And Marcia Gay Harden plays this religious wingnut that accumulates followers. And I mean, it's really fascinating. It's the worst character design I've ever seen in my entire life, for by far the worst CGI ever put to film. I
always want to see it now.
Like, literally just horrible CGI. Like, this is what happens when people get no budget and say, we're going to go ahead with CGI. It's like, don't do that. If you have no budget, give some work to some model makers, because Harryhausen is ready to and his standard bearers are ready to work, and I promise you could get them cheaper for your horrible digital effects, because wow, the digital effects are awful. And then and so the build up is really interesting. The ending of this movie is, and my understanding in the research I did, they did change the ending a little bit. I gotta know how the book ends, because the ending of the movie is tough. I'm just gonna say the ending is tough, and leave it at that. But it as far as Netflix Roulette movies go, it was pretty good. Like, I really enjoyed watching the breakdown of society. That's something, hey, look, we might be witnessing some of this going on right now.
Sure.
Maybe, I don't know. Yes, we are. Okay.
Based on what the story was about, and the story's not, it's not recent. I mean, he wrote this story years and years ago. And you're describing, at least from the story format, exactly what this tale was written to, explore. And now you've given me reasons to watch it, because now I got to see how they change the ending. Because one of the parts about the movie, one of the parts about the book is the ending that was so spectacular.
Nick says the best with a shocking face ending.
See, I'm curious now.
I am really torn with the ending, and I may not read the book. I may just check out what Wikipedia says about the ending, or maybe I'll ask you for it.
What's really crazy is that I've heard of this movie, and we were talking about it at work like not 2 days ago.
Oh, Cool.
Not 2 days ago, we
Wow.
were talking about it at work, and they're like, "Oh, are you sure you're not going to watch the movie?" I was like, "I am absolutely not going to watch this movie for the same reason that Sergio has. Like, I'm not gonna do that." And then they're like, "Okay, well, this is how it ends," and I was like,
Yeah, that's the appropriate. It's like
horrifying.
the problem. Here's my problem with the ending. My problem with the ending is that the movie does a great job of setting up this kind of dystopian nightmare that happens around these events. And the ending just feels mean and cruel and unrelated to anything that's going on during the entire movie. The ending is just like, meh, fuck you. It's like, why? No, fuck you. We don't need to fuck you. Why are we doing that? But yeah, I mean, Frank Darabont, damn it.
Yeah. Again, I'm sitting here because I know the ending of the novella. And I'm very curious to see what they do in the film, because I'm literally resisting going to anywhere that'll tell me what happens in the film, because the book ends in such a way that you're like, yeah, I'm not going to say more unless you let me, but
do it.
It's interesting.
Yeah, go for it.
Tell you?
Yeah. No, don't tell me specifically, but just that makes you feel what? How does the book ending make you feel?
It makes you feel so much. It's a combination of desperation and hope.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So
No,
I'm so curious now.
That's not what the movie's going for.
Okay.
At all.
Right.
The movie is going for one gut punch after another.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, so I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna comment, because now you guys have me curious. So yeah.
Watch it. Watch it. I did genuinely enjoy the first 2.5 acts. So
okay, I thought you were gonna say hours.
Even though,
like, wait a minute.
Even though there's parts of it that
it was a novella.
There are aspects of it that are cringy. A lot of the acting is not good, and and the effects are just atrocious. But but like the story works. Like it really is a solid. Like this is the horribleness of the world. So.
Yeah,
as witnessed by everybody.
Because let me think. I wonder if I can't really say, and I really can't do the research right now. But I wonder if The Mist was part of the same set of stories that gave us Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption, which is what.
Oh, interesting. That's a plausible possibility.
I'll have to look. Because some of King's best work are his compilations of novellas.
I have only, other than The Shining. No, that's not true. I did read The Shining. Shit, I was gonna lie. I've read one of his short story stuff, including The Running Man, which. I just wish they would do an actual adaptation of The Running Man, because The Running Man is a fucking amazing book.
It really is.
And also in that compilation is something that's never been put to screen, though I've seen multiple times, where it's like it's called The Long Walk, and goddamn, that one is like
yeah. I don't know if you've ever read or seen an adaptation of Thinner. I felt that the film adaptation of that book was fantastic. But yeah, no, you're talking to a person who has literally, aside from the Dark Tower series of books, which I've not gotten to, shame on me, I've read just about every other thing King's ever written.
I know. That's why I was like, oh, The Mist. Sergio's going to be able to talk about this one. Anyways, so there you go.
Awesome.
The Mist.
All right. Well, thank you, Paul.
3
interesting films. One not so sci-fi, but sci-fi. And here we are.
Sci-fi enough.
Absolutely. All right. Don't forget, you can stop by realgood.com/roulette and find out what the wheel is going to give you. Just pick a topic, pick a streaming service, or more than one, and let the wheel do the work. All right. That brings us to a quick little comment on where you can find us on social media. Don't forget, stop by Facebook. Just look up the title of the show, Real to Real Talk. Comment below on the broadcast. It's happening live right now on Facebook as well as YouTube. Or any of our posts there on our page, and let us know what you're watching, what you want us to watch, and such. Also on Instagram, you can see all of our show posters, so you know what we've talked about in the past, and look up those episodes. on our platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, we say thank you so much for doing so. We go live every Tuesday, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. But if you can't be here with us live, you can catch us when we post. So make sure you click that notification bell so you know when our episodes land week to week. Thank you so much for joining us on our social media. We are now at a point where I love to say it's time to get weird. Paul Britton, what the hell did you watch this week?
So I picked a sci-fi movie, just to stick with the theme. And so you frequently ask, where did I find this one? And I had a couple sci-fi movies queued up, but I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna hunt around a little bit and try to find one. And so I did a couple searches of strangest sci-fi movies that are out there. And a couple of them mentioned a movie called Beyond the Black Rainbow. And it turns out that this movie was made by a guy who made Mandy, which is so Beyond the Black Rainbow is the first movie of the guy who made Mandy. Dude's name is Panos Cosmatos, and which was a Nick Cage movie, which was weird as hell. But like, so I was like, okay, well, yeah, I'll give this guy a chance, given that he made Mandy. And goddamn, this movie is second ballot Hall of Fame for what the hell that I just watched, because this was absolutely a what the hell am I watching movie. This is a weird as fuck movie. Now, it was made in 2010, but the best part about this movie is that it takes place in like the mid 80s. And I have never seen a movie that, that tries to present a futuristic aspect, like a futuristic view of the past and do such an amazing job with the art design. I mean, the art design of this movie alone is like, this is perfect. It's crazy how good the art design is, because I literally was watching this movie and I was like, I thought they said this movie was made in 2010. And like, and they don't ever really kind of establish when it's taking place, other than there are a few clues that it's taking place in the 80s. And then like, I looked it up and it's like, oh, it is taking place in the 80s, but it was filmed in 2010. But they did such a good job of making it seem like a futuristic movie of what the future might look like in the 80s. It looked like it was being made in the 80s, and God bless them. Perfection. Nice. And I had no idea what the fuck was going on. So it just was like, what is going on? But it was absolutely compelling, the insanity that was going on. So the movie opens with a commercial from the 1960s. And I know it was a commercial from the 1960s because at the end of the commercial, they flash like the Roman numeral year. And I was like, what the hell year is that supposed to be from? And it's a 1964. I was like, okay, cool. And then fast forward to the 1980s, and the commercial was for this sort of like new age retreat. Like this guy opened up this new age retreat where you go, and it's a combination of technology and your psychic ability to calm your mind. Yep. And so fast forward, we're at this retreat, and they have this woman that they're at this retreat, and you kind of slowly find out that she's kind of being held prisoner there. You kind of slowly find out that she only speaks through psychic abilities, and you kind of sort of find out later through a flashback, although you don't really know it's a flashback. I like literally had to look up what the fuck is going on during this scene to find out that it was a flashback. You kind of find out that she actually was the daughter of the founder, the guy that we first see, because we don't see the founder again until much later in the movie. The daughter of the founder who we saw in the first opening commercial thing. And we find out during this flashback that the guy who's running the thing now fell into some black goo, and then the founder and like goes crazy, and then the founder dips his newborn daughter into the black goo, and that's what gives her those. And I mean, they're using this machine to control her psychic abilities, and it's like, what? But the machine is just like this pyramid lit up and totally like from the movie Tron, and I loved it. I'm flat out telling you, this movie made no sense, and God bless it, it's awesome. If you just want to, if you really want to be confused by a movie but also possibly enjoy the experience, this is this is one that I can recommend. It's playing on HBO Max through the end of the month. It is leaving HBO Max at the end of the month, so the timing is perfect. Go check it out. I can't promise you you're going to like it, but I promise you you'll have an experience.
I love it when one of these movies you talk about during this segment just has you fumbling for how to best describe.
Because you can't believe what's going on. That is so the epitome. What are you doing?
But it's so great. The epitome of the segment.
The art direction, right. It's worth watching for the art direction. Honestly, the art direction is A++++. Like I would, it would never get nominated for an Academy Award, but I promise you I could go back to see what was nominated in 2010 and say there's no way the art direction on these movies was better than the art direction in Beyond the Black Rainbow. No way. Nice. It's perfect.
All right. Well, another interesting visit to What the Hell Did I Just Watch with Paul. Make sure you stop by week to week to find out what kind of weirdness Paul is bringing us. And Paul, as always, thank you for
absolutely sharing
with us the weird. All right, that brings us to this week's segment, or this week's Real Alphabetical. Every week, Paul and I are going through the alphabet. We are on letter C.
Yeah,
and the movie, he gives me a movie that starts with that letter, and we're on C. So the movie we chose, or he chose, was called Come On, Come On.
Yeah,
available on Hulu. Joaquin Phoenix and
a kid.
Why did you choose this film, Paul?
Because curious. It's a really good movie. Okay. It's not, I mean, it's a really good movie.
It is.
Joaquin Phoenix is amazing in it.
He is. He's absolutely amazing in it.
The kid in it is freaking amazing. Woody Norman is the kid's name.
Fantastic performances in this film.
Yeah.
This was
Look,
me.
I'm not always going to give you something that gives you warm, happy feelings. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh no.
So hold on. So slow.
Oh.
Slow.
Absolutely.
I'm like, can something please just happen?
No. This is just wow.
I love talking movies, Paul.
Yeah.
And this one made me go,
oh my goodness. I love this movie. I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I mean,
well,
you'll
all be winners.
You almost lost your real alphabetical privileges, but no, no, I'm teasing. No, I can see the value of this film. I really can. They mix it. I really want, I'm being sincere when I ask you this. I'm not trying to be funny. Yeah. Why do you think the choice was made by the director to go black and white on this film? I think I know why, but I'm just curious to know your thoughts.
I think that it's a mood. The movie's a mood, and black and white is a mood.
And go ahead.
Yeah, and that's what the movie is. It's literally just a mood. It is not a story.
Yeah.
It is not. It's barely even a character study.
Right.
It's a mood.
It is such a, okay. And again, if I've learned anything doing this show, especially with you guys, there's the point where I need to start exploring beyond what Sergio's likes and dislikes are.
Sure.
To truly be fair to a film. Mm-hmm. And I love that you said this was not a story, because that's exactly what I had to get past. This is a look at the way in which people interact when they don't want to face trauma head on.
Right.
And when you have proxies, the kid, in which these emotions and traumas play out. Mm-hmm. Right. And so you learn about Joaquin Phoenix's character, you learn about his sister, you learn about the kid, but it's like this, it's just emotional information dump that you have to sit there and figure out what to do with. So don't get me wrong. This for me, slow as it was, I can't deny this was a 4+ guac film.
Yeah.
It really, really is.
Mm-hmm.
But it was laborious to get through.
Yeah.
Because of what it's asking you to do, which is to sit patiently, listen, absorb, and deal with the interactions that are playing out for absolutely no reason. I mean, that's how it feels.
Okay.
Because then you realize, oh, I was the reason.
Yes.
It's supposed to make me think and affect me in a certain way.
For sure.
And so this is a very strong film.
Yeah.
But whoa, wow. It was laborious to get through.
Yeah.
And so, and I can't even tell you how I would change it, Paul, because again, I would certainly ruin because if I pick up the pace, it won't accomplish what it's there to do, which is to make the audience member think. And so, I know we don't do ratings on these, but 4+ guac.
I don't even know.
It's amazing.
I don't even know that it's there for thinking. Like genuinely. I don't know if it's supposed to make you think as much as it's supposed to make you feel.
Did it make you feel uncomfortable at points because of the way in which it was forcing you to face this thing that you can't do anything about?
Emotions are tough.
Yeah.
Emotions are tough.
Yeah.
That's what this is. This movie's a mood, and I don't mean that lightly. I don't mean that flippantly. I mean that 100%. This movie's a mood, and color. Here's the thing. Here's why it's black and white. Colors are going to elicit an emotion.
Yeah.
It's just a reality. That's not what this movie's trying to do.
Right.
It doesn't want the picture
to
elicit. It wants your emotion to
your mind and your imagination.
It wants your emotion to be unencumbered by anything other than what's going on between Joaquin Phoenix, the kid, and then every once in a while the mom who pops in.
Right.
That's it.
And boy, the subject matter, is so again, I have dealt with just about every single thing that pops up in this film in terms of family medical issues. And so it was challenging. And I guess the only thing I wish is that there was more level to the pacing or to the presentation of it. Okay. It felt very much at one level, which was hard. It's not a short film. And so but again, I started the talk on it, to be funny. But it's I'm amazed I'd never heard of it until you brought it up. And
it was definitely in the conversation at awards time. It just didn't get any.
I wish I could recall, because there is quality here that was missed for sure. So come on was letter C in real alphabetical. And so thank you, Paul. You're up next whenever you're ready to let me know what my D letter or movie is going to be.
We'll get it. It's on. We'll figure it out.
Excellent. All right. Well, it's time for some real quick reviews. And gosh darn, Susan, you're going to get to be part of these.
I am.
So, at least on one.
Cool.
So Paul, I'd like to, because I watched yours too.
Okay.
But I am bringing one to the table with Susan. So can we start there?
Do it.
Yeah, we're going to go to a little movie called DC League of Super Pets. Was released this past weekend. DC completely changing the origin story of Superman.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There was a dog involved. So there's not a lot for me to hear. This is real quick review. Susan, I'll defer to you as well. But this was cute. It was fun. That's me throwing to you. So.
Oh. I was waiting for more. Yeah, no, it was an adorable movie. I think definitely a kid movie. Lots of fun though. I think.
Yeah, I mean, we all know by now the combination of Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart is going to have punch. They have a lot of fun when they work together. The rest of the cast in this film that voices the characters. I mean, you get every major DC character is represented in the form of a pet or an animal, and I won't give much away in terms of what ends up happening, but it's just really. I thought it was very cool how they took. You're sitting there watching the movie, go, well, where is this going to go in relation to? Because they introduce all of the major superhero characters, like Superman's in it, Wonder Woman, Aquaman. I mean, Green Lantern. They're all there. So how does this movie maintain its intent to be about the pets or the animals, right? And they do some creative stuff. The villain in this film is so hilarious and so awesome. It's just a feel-good movie that accomplishes its goal of being entertaining, and it doesn't really aspire to do much more than have fun. And so I really enjoyed this movie. Susan, before I do my review taco score, what would you give DC League of Super Pets? And of course, share any other thoughts you have.
I'm gonna say it gets 3 tacos plus guac. Just because it was hard to get past the changing of the Superman story, but I was like, I loved everything else about it. Like, I think it was a cute movie. I think my kids are gonna love it. And it was a cartoon, so that was cool. Right. I don't know. I enjoyed being out in the theater and like watching something new.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Susan, Joy, Jen, and I'm going to land on 3 solid tacos, which I think would make people feel like, well, did you really like it? Let's face it, it's an animated movie. You guys know where I land on those. It's for fun, and again, it doesn't try too hard to become one. It does leave you with like there will be sequels, but yeah, it was a fun movie. And I do encourage folks to see it, especially if you got kids. It is okay for the kids, and a lot of fun. So
can we just throw up the spoiler alert tag here?
Sure.
What did they do to the Superman origin? I'm not going to watch this movie.
So in the origin story, we know that Kal-El is put into the rocket ship by his parents because Krypton is going to meet its doom, and the first thing you see is that the family have a dog.
Right.
And so it's a puppy. And as they're putting Kal-El into the ship and the ship's starting to close, everything's looking great at this point. You're like, all right, we're talking origin story. No problem. Well, of course, the puppy has to, fight its way from the parents and jumps into the ship at the last second. And so he arrives to Earth with his pup in tow. So, and the puppy's name is Crypto. So.
I feel like that is not a change to, like, wasn't there a super dog? And isn't that how the super dog?
I've not heard of it. I've not heard of super
dog.
I
could be wrong. No. I could be wrong.
I
probably am wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again.
This might be the second time.
Okay.
So
maybe second time.
But yeah, no doubt it was a fun film. But to your point, Paul, folks could just as easily wait till it's on streaming and they'll have a good time. So, All right, you're bringing an interesting one, sir.
Yeah. So the movie I'm bringing in is Not Okay on Hulu.
Not okay, but go ahead.
And this is a story of, like, this is a millennial Gen Z movie. And it's a story of a young woman, early 20s, her first job out of college, as a writer on a zine of some kind, and is having a hard time getting noticed, in the way that's important to her, which is on social media. And so she crafts up a story about going out on a trip to Paris to drum up interest in her account. And it just so happens that there's a terrorist attack in Paris at the same time that she's fake in Paris. And so she gains interest in, oh my God, this person's in Paris. Are you okay? And then becomes a survivor of the terrorist attack in Paris and gains fame through that, and then how she loses the fame and gains infamy as the reality turns out. And like one of the things she does is joins a survivors group and meets a young girl still in high school who survived a school shooting, and sort of like the survivors of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting down here in South Florida. She's become an activist, and basically she rides that girl's coattails, and it's just I mean, it's a really tough movie. It's a really tough movie, and it it adds levity, and the levity works and doesn't work. It's
Right.
it's tough.
That's the flaw of this film. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you can call it a flaw. It's just because it doesn't. It's this really where the levity needs to be. It's because there are a lot of the levity I enjoyed until the Survivor.
It goes south. And the film doesn't go south. The character leans too much into all the wrong, which is the point of the film.
Correct.
Yeah. No, I so in watching the film, I was so affected by the content that I couldn't really sit there and judge the film on its merits from cinematography and acting. The acting was not my favorite. But it was one of those things where it was almost too. Oh God, I'm not going to say it was too heavy. It was heavy, but it tried to be light, and it was like, make up your mind. Like, because you're wanting to make a statement here. I was very impressed by how they decided to end it.
Yes.
Okay.
The ending
I'm not going to say more.
Phenomenal.
It is chef's kiss.
Phenomenal.
Someone made a really good choice, and I wonder if they had to fight for it. Because and that's the only reason that I'll sit on this one and give it what I'm going to give it, because it was a courageous choice.
Yeah.
To end the film the way they did.
The ending works with the whole movie in its entirety.
Absolutely.
And and that's why the levity works in the movie, but it's just the whole thing. Just we were talking about come on, it's a mood. This whole movie is really supposed to make you feel really uncomfortable. I mean, it's really supposed to make you feel this inappropriateness.
Right. And boy, not to get into a deep discussion about, the times we live in, but golly, that this is not too far a stretch for some people out there in the influencer world.
Yeah.
It's scary to think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So
I'll throw it to you, Paul, for ratings on Not Okay, found on Hulu.
I'm going with 3+ guac, because it's if you nail the ending on a movie, because so many movies just boff the ending horribly.
Sure.
This one, I was 3 tacos throughout, and then the ending was like, holy shit, that ending is just fucking perfect. And so I'm going 3+.
We are on the same page, my friend. 3+ guac. Again, it was the ending for me that was satisfying enough for me to go, okay, I can forgive some of the other stuff. But yeah, and it's available on Hulu. So if you have that streaming service, make sure you check it out. It is an interesting look at some real things that occur. So, all right. Well, Susan, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
It was fun having you here.
It was fun to be back for a little while.
Absolutely. In fact, I don't know if you saw, but our buddy George stopped by. And he says, yeah. So you got 3 months.
I'm working on it.
Oh, and by the way, guys, Nick Kramer always comes through. Crypto is from the comics.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
I don't know what Crypto's origin is. I know
now I got to go look.
Yeah.
So. Now I got to go look. Yeah. So, all right. Well, with that in mind, before we do anything else, Susan, we wish you continued good luck with your schooling.
For sure.
Thank you for taking a moment to join us. I know you're getting into your final phase, so good luck and all that fun stuff. Make us proud.
I hope so.
Absolutely.
For sure.
We're already proud.
For sure.
All right. Did you enjoy your surprise, Paul?
I did.
Yay.
It was great. It's good having you on always. So, yeah,
Absolutely. All right. Well, we enjoy all of you stopping by and saying hello and joining us for this movie talk business that we do. So make sure you stop by next week.
Oh, my God.
Whoa, what a week. Man.
It's the last summer movie weekend. Yeah. And it's
Throw me one, Paul. What's one that you're absolutely looking forward to talking about?
Oh, come on. Bullet Train. I mean,
of course. Absolutely.
Come on.
Absolutely. That's the one. So, all right. Well, make sure you join us next week. And more importantly than that, though, remember, you're awesome. You're amazing. and the world's a better place because you are in it. We love you guys.